Remember Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan? The one that we lost, like the critical air base that we lost during the Afghanistan withdrawal. So came out today. There's a mysterious U.S. military flight to Afghanistan, and it sparked speculation about Bagram Air Base. So it's from the Independent, and it says the U.S. cargo plane that flew into Afghanistan last week has sparked speculation that America could retake control of the strategic Bagram Air Base. So if you remember, they were saying that China was going to be able to take over this air base that now that we had withdrawn. So this could be something good. According to local military reports, the C-17 aircraft took off from Dohas or is that Al? That's probably Al. Dohas Al Undid military base, arriving in Afghanistan via Pakistan on Sunday and landed at Bagram. The aircraft was said to be carrying senior U.S. intelligence officers, including CIA Deputy Chief Michael Ellis, and military equipment. Kama Press reported. The outlet claimed that the Taliban had handed over the base, which President Donald Trump expressed interest in reclaiming during his presidential election campaign to the U.S. The claim was swiftly denied by the Taliban's chief spokesperson Zabullah Mujahid, who describes it as propaganda. He said that the Taliban had complete control over the air base. The U.S. Air Force C-17 originating from Al-Udad Air Base descended to around 20,000 feet over Tajikistan April 5th, did not land in Bagram Air Base, hovering briefly for about 1 to 2 hours. This is a tweet from Qais al-Madar. Speed more, blah, blah, blah. American takeover of the base was impossible, Mr. Mujahid said, and there is no need for any country's military presence in Afghanistan at present. And the Islamic Emirate will not allow such an action. Zahi Ahmad Takal, a deputy spokesperson at Afghanistan's foreign ministry, issued a denial as well. This news is not correct, he told The Independent. The Pentagon is yet to comment on the reports, but a U.S. defense source told The Independent that there is no U.S. military presence in Afghanistan. Where all this is the flight tracker, I suppose. The Bagram Air Base north of capital Kabul served as the command node for American and allied NATO forces for 2 decades as they waged a war against the Taliban and Al-Qaeda. The base, the size of a small city, was captured by the Taliban soon after the Western troops vacated it, shutting off power and slipping away as they withdrew from the country in the summer of 2021. Bagram has 2 runways and over 100 parking spots for fighter jets known as the revetments because of the blast walls which protect each aircraft. One of the runways, built in 2006, measures 12,000 feet long, and it boasts a passenger lounge, a 50-bed hospital, and hangar-sized tents filled with supplies like furniture. Mr. Trump has repeatedly talked about taking back control of the Bagram base. He claimed last month that Washington planned to return the base because it now allegedly hosted Chinese troops. Boom, there you go. We're going to circle back to that. Quote, I am the one who got our military presence to under 5,000, but we were going to keep Bagram not because of Afghanistan, but because of China, because the air base is exactly 1 hour away from where China makes its nuclear missiles, Mr. Trump said. So we're going to keep Bagram. Bagram was one of the largest bases in the world, complete with one of the biggest and most powerful runways, the U.S. president added, and we gave it up. And you know who is occupying at the moment? China, because Biden gave it up, so we can keep that. At the time, Mr. Mujahid dismissed Trump's comments as emotional and said the U.S. should refrain from making statements based on unsubstantiated information. All right, so let's see these Chinese troops. So I like this. I like that we are taking this on before it turns into something, because I mean, we're in a position where we could either be like the strongest we'll ever be, or that could not be the case. China's the strongest it's ever been, and I think we have an opportunity to really take the air out of the balloon. But you know, the air's been taken out of our balloon for the last 20 years and given to them. So I think this is like our last shot to make sure China doesn't ever overtake us. I mean, I think that they were already going to tip over and fail anyway, but we could really expedite that. I mean, there's a time I remember once when China was threatening Taiwan. when Clinton was president, and all Clinton had to do was send a U.S. Aircraft carrier to the South China Sea, and China quieted right down. But then today, they're feeling big and bold enough to basically talk shit when we're making threats against them. So it's ideal to live in a world where there's not a country that feels emboldened enough or powerful enough to talk shit to you when you're making a threat or making a demand. And I don't think Russia fits that anymore. I think Russia knows exactly what their place is. I think that's why they didn't ever launch a nuclear weapon, at least so far with the Ukraine stuff. Because Tucker said a pretty crazy thing today when he was on with Alex Jones. He said that the Pentagon ran an assessment that determined that there was a 50% chance of a nuclear response from Russia if we did something that we ended up doing. And they liked those odds. They liked the odds of 50-50 if Russia would hit us with a nuclear weapon. So, one, that's insane that that's what we were dealing with. And I really would like to understand how those people think. But two, I mean, that's a real show of weakness for Russia that we basically were at war with them ourselves through a proxy, and we're antagonizing them as much as we possibly could. And they threatened a nuclear weapon multiple times and didn't use it. So, I think that's a show of where we are compared to them in terms of world power. But different situation with China. China's getting right up to that point where they could be competitive with us in a strength-based way. But I think we could still shut it down. I think we could still shut it down. I think we could still nip it in the heels. So again, from Yahoo News or from The Independent, Taliban dismiss Trump's claim about Chinese presence at Bagram airfield. This is from March 3rd. The Taliban dismissed Donald Trump's claim of Chinese presence at one former American military base in Afghanistan. The U.S. president claimed Washington was planning to return the Bagram air base. He suggested the U.S. should move to reclaim and disused. The hell is that? Disused and demilitarized military equipment that was not brought home with the departing troops should, during the withdrawal from Afghanistan, quote, I'm the one who got our military presence. Yeah, he said that. We said that already. Let's see what happens when you type in Chinese or China, Afghanistan. China's unenthusiastic economic engagement with Taliban-led Afghanistan. Here we go. This is from October 2024. China to offer Taliban tariff-free trade as it inches closer to isolated resource-rich regime. Okay, that's one. China-Taliban relationship. China navigates a new Afghanistan with the Taliban as its rulers. China mineral ambitions in Taliban-led Afghanistan. China deepens its engagement with Taliban-ruled Afghanistan. China's standoff on who runs the Afghanistan file at the UN signals greater tension ahead. Chinese American woman thanks Trump after being freed, but yeah, got it. So this is one of those things where there's smoke, there's fire. That if people have been talking about it before Trump was talking about it, and then now that Trump is talking about it, there's probably some degree of truth to it. And we have to shut that shit down as fast as humanly possible. Any place that's that's a strategically important place that is kind of a coin flip to where we could either take it or give it up or just complain about it. We have to take that shit. With the BlackRock and the Panama Canal, if that thing falls through and BlackRock isn't able to get it legally, I think we got to go in there and take it. What the hell's Panama going to do if we roll in there with our Navy? I think they say no. People will complain, but that's how important that is. China having access to that, having control over that makes them immensely more powerful if we ever had to square off with them. I officially opened up the Forbidden Book Society on Minnect, on the Circles tab in Minnect. So I just want to build a club of sharp, curious people, and that's what we're doing there. So if you are interested in something like that, check out the Forbidden Book Society on Minnect Circles.